There is a moment in the Christian story that almost everyone rushes past. A moment that is uncomfortable, confusing, and deeply human. My God, why have you forsaken me? These are the final words of Jesus Christ in the Gospel of Mark. Not peace, not certainty, not victory, a cry of abandonment. Carl Jung believed this was the most psychologically honest moment in the entire Bible, because it describes something many people experience, but almost nobody talks about. Have you ever had a period in your life where the person you thought you were just stopped working? Not a bad day, not a rough week, something deeper, a collapse. The identity you built, the story you told yourself, the direction you thought your life was going, suddenly doesn't make sense anymore. You feel lost, disconnected, maybe even abandoned. In Jung's psychology, this is not random. This is a pattern. He believed the story of the Crucifixion is not just a religious event, it is a psychological map. A map of transformation. To understand it, you have to understand one thing. The ego. The ego is the version of you that you show to the world. Your personality, your identity, your sense of control. And over time, the ego begins to believe it is the whole person, but it isn't. And at some point in life, that illusion breaks. Jung called this process individuation, the movement toward becoming whole. And for that to happen, something in you has to die. Not physically, psychologically. The old identity, the false certainty, the version of yourself that can no longer carry your life forward. This is what the crucifixion represents. Everything is stripped away. Control, meaning, certainty, even the feeling that life makes sense. And in the middle of that experience, it doesn't feel like transformation. It feels like loss. It feels like God has left. That's the part most people skip. But Jung didn't, because this is the truth. Real transformation does not feel spiritual. It feels like darkness. Between the crucifixion and the resurrection, there is a space that almost nobody talks about. In the Christian tradition, it is described in one quiet line: he descended into hell. For Jung, this was essential. This is the in-between, the place where the old self is gone, but the new self hasn't formed yet. Nothing looks like it's working. Nothing feels meaningful. From the outside, it looks like you are lost. But something is happening. Deep in the unconscious, your psyche is reorganizing. And here is the difficult truth. You cannot rush this part. You cannot think your way out. You cannot force your way through. Jung observed something over and over again. People who try to escape this phase too quickly end up repeating it again and again, because the transformation was never completed. You cannot skip the darkness. Now, here is the part most people misunderstand. The resurrection is not a return to who you were before. It is not restoration, it is transformation. In the Gospels, when Jesus Christ returns, people don't recognize him at first. He looks familiar, but different. And one detail matters more than anything else. The wounds are still there. He is not healed by forgetting the suffering. He is whole because he has carried it. Jung saw this as a psychological truth. A person who has gone through real transformation does not come back clean. They come back whole. And wholeness includes the wounds. The pain you went through does not disappear, but it changes. It becomes understanding, depth, compassion. You are no longer the same person. You are someone who knows something the previous version of you could not know. That is the self, not the perfect version of you, the complete version. And then something else happens. After the resurrection, there is a period of time before the ascension, 40 days. During this time, Christ does something very simple. He lives, he eats, he speaks, he connects. For Jung, this represents integration, because transformation is not complete until it becomes part of your everyday life. Not in theory, in reality. The way you speak, the way you relate, the way you exist, that is where the real work is. Now think about your own life, the moments when everything fell apart, the times when you felt lost, broken, or uncertain of who you were. At the time, it felt like failure. But look again. Who were you before that moment? And who did you become after? Are they the same person? Or did something happen in the dark that changed you? Jung's insight is simple but not easy. The darkness is not outside the story. It is the story. The cross is real. The waiting is real. The wounds are real. And so is what comes after. This is not about belief. It is about recognition. Because anyone who has been through it can see themselves in this pattern, not as an observer, but as a participant. And that is what this channel is about. Not comfort, clarity. So, I'll leave you with a question. Where are you in this process? Are you holding on to something that no longer works? Are you in the darkness, waiting for something to change? Or are you on the other side, trying to understand who you have become? Write it in the comments, because that is where the real conversation begins. Next, we go deeper, into one of Jung's most controversial ideas, that the shadow of Western Christianity is returning, and he called it the Antichrist.